Hello and welcome to the Two Fat Brokers podcast.
We're back.
We're back. It's been a while. We're now in 2022. Someone got coronavirus, and so that's one of the reasons why we haven't done one of these for a little while. Other things obviously getting in the way. The world's been turned upside down by Omicron, but we're now coming back out of it, and we thought we'd take this opportunity to do year in review. What happened in 2021 in real estate in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. In case you've forgotten, I'm Ben Crompton from Abu Dhabi. This is
Barney Crompton from Dubai.
And Barney, do you want to start us off? What happened in Dubai real estate in 2021?
What didn't happen? It was, I think, a year
Roller coaster?
unprecedented. No, I'm sure some of those happened too. It was a year unprecedented on many fronts. I think the way that the real estate market has performed took everyone by surprise. I mean, we started to see things, a bit of a resurgence at the end of 2020, but I don't think any of us could have seen how 2021 was going to pan out.
What did you expect was going to happen? Market struggle?
Market struggle. We were expecting hopefully a plateau, but I mean, obviously, you know, your expectations when there's a global pandemic can never really be can be banked on. But I mean, we'd seen such a protracted decline in the market in the sort of 4, 5, maybe even 6 years before. You were expecting a plateau at the bottom. And I've said this to many people, and I'll say it on camera. I don't think anyone expected a global pandemic to be the savior of the Dubai real estate market.
I think we all thought the bottom was going to fall out of it.
We kind of did. And what happened was the exact opposite. Prices have surged. Population has grown.
Population's grown?
Yeah. I mean, Dubai certainly feels busy. I don't have any sort of anecdotal evidence. I don't have any physical evidence, but only anecdotal. But Dubai, it's harder to get bookings in restaurants. You know, the roads are busier, the malls are busier. I certainly think our population would have grown. Or, you know, people who have investor visas and residence visas, but not work visas, have come to stay in Dubai, and you know they're just using the access that they've been granted through any of the mediums that you can get visas here.
So what happened in real estate? Like physically, what happened?
A boom of biblical proportions. Prices have gone up across the board. Yes, there's been a flight to quality. Yes, apartments haven't fared as well as villas, which we have seen, you know, since the beginning of COVID. People are leaving buildings in their droves and heading to wide open spaces like you see behind us. Prices in some places have doubled. You know, there's a little enclave called Jumeirah Bay, which holds Bulgari Hotel. People know it as Bulgari Island. Prices there have, in some cases, nearly tripled for plots of land. Palm Jumeirah doubled, Emirates Hills 40% on top.
I mean, plots of land is an interesting one because obviously that's an investment in the future. I mean, you can buy a house for now, but a plot of land, obviously, you're not going to get anything tangible out of that for 3 years. So,
more.
If people are buying plots of land, you would say that's a positive sign for the future, as opposed to
also development
stuff's
opportunity.
Happening now.
You know, not everybody who bought those lands were, you know, end users. Some will buy the land, develop it, and sell it at what they hope to be a premium in, you know, the 4 years after it's been built. But yeah, it's certainly an investment in the future. There are the occasional investors who saw the market going up, land grab, and then resell it at what they think the top of the market is. But no, you're right. I agree.
So have you seen prices increase until now? Was there a hot period, slower, faster? Like what's happening? Still going up, flat, going down?
Prices are still reaching record levels. You know, we thankfully, my partner Chris Boswell and I sold the most.
Your lesbian life partner?
I don't think for life. I think maybe just for a year or two.
Okay.
I think, we sold the most expensive house price per square foot ever to sell in the history of Dubai at the end of last year. I think the real gold rush happened, I mean, it may still be happening, it depends on who you talk to, but from my perspective, was really sort of mid to end of last year. This year has...
still carried on through to the end of the year, because some people would say it was more the front end of the year.
No, I would say mid to end of the year. I mean, it was a strong year all the way through. There was, it was frothy. There was a lot of interest, a lot of transactions. The interest, I feel, has probably waned a little. Prices now are, I feel possibly at the top. We may have reached the crescendo of the market. But then what do I know? I've been proven wrong many, many times before.
Well, what you'd like to think is there's no top, but then what you get is sensible increasing from here on out. Because, I mean, by some estimates, Dubai real estate went, up 20, 30% last year. And that's obviously unsustainable over the long term. But you'd like to say, okay, we'll get to a point where now we've got fair value and now we're going to increase.
I see, this is an interesting point. What is fair value? So my assumption as a real estate agent, having seen the boom and bust of Dubai, my assumption of what fair value is very different to somebody who's coming here from abroad, where they still think that the real estate in Dubai is undervalued, comparable to what they pay for the same thing in, all of the other major cities. And Dubai is a major city.
Well, people like to say, okay, so you can get this apartment here in Dubai, and when you compare it to the same apartment in London, it's cheaper. But there's a lot of factors that feed into that, and that valuation can't work by itself, because in particular, and the problem that we've had in UAE real estate for a long time is oversupply. Okay, this apartment maybe, but what if this entire building's empty and you don't have the population to fill it? Then how does the value work? But probably a conversation for another podcast.
No, that sounds boring. I don't want to.
Valuation's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, the cut and thrust of it is it was a great year. What we did see obviously was a flight to Dubai from very wealthy individuals, well, from a lot of people in the rest of the world who saw Dubai as being very much more open during lockdowns and when everyone else is struggling and the weather's miserable and markets aren't really going your way, and they look across whatever sea they're looking over to look at Dubai, and they see a city that's booming, a city that's largely open, and that was what sort of brought people here. And when they come, then they realise it's a very easy place to do business, yada yada, all of the buzzwords. So the question is, can we hang on to the people that came here? And by the size of the investments that they're making in real estate, you don't make a play in real estate for $20 million, $30 million if you don't plan on using it.
Unless you're super wealthy. But I mean, I take your point. India is a great example. Indians have always been very happy to invest in the UAE, and if things are not going well in India, perhaps they don't feel that, or they feel maybe that Dubai's handling the pandemic better. Maybe they will, it's a short flight. They will shift their investments.
Because a lot of people came from India because their kids couldn't go to school in India. India was locked down completely. Kids have missed 1-2 years worth of school, and they come to Dubai because schools are still open. And you can't have a child losing 2 years of their education. And online is a nice substitute, but it is no real substitute for real learning.
True, and it annoys the parents, no end.
Yes.
Well, yeah, particularly if you have to work from home. Anyway, Dubai's probably a far more interesting story than Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi's been
as is always
positive.
The case.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi's been positive in 2021. Nothing like the boom that we've seen in Dubai, but Abu Dhabi has been again, a real flight to quality. There have been certain areas, Yas Island in particular, Hid Sadiyat as well, where prices have really gone up that same 20, 25, 30% that's happened in Dubai. Most of Abu Dhabi's market's been pretty stable though. CBRE brought out a report a couple of weeks ago which said sale prices are up 1.4%, rents are down 1.7%. So, really, pretty solid, I'd like to say. Solid if unspectacular. But, there were people, and what we're seeing, I think seeing globally is nice villas with gardens and outside space, really outperforming the market because, people want, we say it all the time, space. If there is a lockdown, they have somewhere for the kids to run around, they have somewhere for themselves, and they're really outperforming apartments.
It's phenomenal to think in a city, and Abu Dhabi's not a big city, but it's phenomenal to think in such a small city, and Dubai has the same thing, that one market can be 30% up and the other remains the same. You can hear my son in the background. He's very pleased to see me.
Yeah. So yes, in summary, 2021 was a roller coaster of sorts in Dubai, but very, very positive.
Mainly ups, very few downs.
Abu Dhabi, plodding on, strong, keeping it solid and real, yeah, and really maintaining the reputation that Abu Dhabi has of, solid if unspectacular and unflashy progress.
Like you, solid and dependable.
I mean,
not very flashy.
The two cities couldn't match us any better, could they? So that's been our review of 2021. Our next podcast will be what's going to happen in 2022. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I've been Ben from Abu Dhabi.
I've been Barney from Dubai.
And thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.